There are four types of energy that you need to harness in order to be able to manifest: spiritual, physical, emotional, and mental. All four of these combined come together for your manifestation. And we're going to get into it today because I think there's a lot of people who believe that, only physical, like hustling, grinding, doing those things, that's the way to get what you want. There are people who just sit and pray and pray and pray and think that the answer is going to show up at their door. There's people who's going to think and learn their way into the next evolution of themselves. There are people who think that they're going to love their way into their next life. And all of them are right, but all of them are wrong. So we're going to get into that today. And I want you guys to understand that this is not a judgment. This is just a way to provide you guys with a framework in order to be able to find some balance and find the true north to your dreams, goals, and desires without burning out. All right. Before we get into it, I always forget to do that. So let's talk about the Be Do Have experience. If you guys would like to go through this framework with me, go to this link. I'm going to put it in the show notes also, where in 21 days, we're going to not only really deep dive into what it is that you want to have, but we're going to find the energy behind what it is you need to do in order to get there, and explore some of the values and belief systems that you have behind them that could be blocking you from the love that you want, the money you want, the purpose you want, the health you want. Whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your life, after 21 days, you're going to have a clearer picture of how to do it, how to get it, what it takes to actually do that. And you're going to have me, okay? Me helping you. Worth every penny with just that, okay? Gotta say. So let's get started. So most people operate from the have, do, be model. What is that? The have, do, be model says, when I have the thing, I'm going to do the thing so I can be the thing. Meaning, when I have the money, I'm going to save money so that I can be financially secure. But that's not how it works. It's the opposite. I have to be financially secure and start getting into the habits and practices of what that means to be financially secure right now, so that in the future, when I'm exposed to having money, that I'm not going to lose it. So it's like, people have it backwards. People think, just give me the thing and everything's going to be all right. Now, let's think about examples of when this is actually proven to be false. People who win the lottery, people who go through massive surgery to lose a ton of weight. People wind up gaining the weight back and even more. People will wind up blowing all their money and then filing bankruptcy. There's a lot of ways in which you can create a windfall for yourself, but you are not prepared for that windfall. You are not prepared to hold that manifestation. And so you eventually lose it anyways. So we want to be the person first. Be the financially secure person. Be the person who's so in love with themselves. Be the person who is healthy. Be the gym girly. Be that person. And then do the things that a rich girl would do. Do the things that a gym girly would do. Do the things that a girly who's in love would do. And then you'll see that the opportunities, chances, and ways in which you can manifest the thing that you want actually happen. You'll see that you start losing the weight. You see that you start attracting people who want to take you out on a date, that you're going to attract the job opportunities, that you're going to attract those other things outside of you. You're going to see that you're going to start pulling them in. So here are the four types of energy. Mental, those are your thoughts. Those are the mental capacity that you have. Like, what are you learning? And all that. Physical, it's your body. The emotional are your feelings. And mental and emotional are two very different things. Mental is more of the logical brain. Emotional is the feelings part of it. So they're similar, but they're very different. Then you have the spiritual, which is a connection to God, Amen. So a manifestation is not random. It might look random to you. It might feel random to you. It might seem random to you. But what you're not witnessing is how the world is like conspiring, all the things that happen to you. Like it could be said that it is very random where I live. You could say it's very random, my profession. You could say it's very random, the clothes that I'm wearing. This sweater. I went on a trip to Florida with my husband. We like before that, he had been talking about going on this trip to Florida. Before that, he had told me that he liked going to Florida. Before that, I met my husband. So like this random chain of events led to me standing here with this Florida sweater. I know you can't even see it right now, but this Florida sweater right here in order for this to happen. So many things had to happen in order for this to actually be there. But that is just the world conspiring and the world working in ways that you can't comprehend, so that when you do finally see it, you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But until then, you cannot fathom the infinite number of ways in which something can happen. So all of these different energies need to happen and need to be harnessed. And it's the movement of this energy and the direction of the movement of that energy that is going to give you what you want if you do it correctly. Okay, let's get into it. So, the ego's playground. Let's talk about this. So, I have mentioned before that there are two ways in which the ego likes to mess with you. One, it wants you to do the thing you're not supposed to do, or not do the thing that you're supposed to do. Like, let's not go to the gym today. Let's just eat a cookie. Let's just bed rot today. Let's just binge watch 100 episodes of Naruto. Let's just do thing that is not going to get you the thing that you want, but will give you immediate satisfaction right now. The thing that feels good in the moment, but over time, you're just like, that's not what I wanted. That's really not what I wanted. And then you have the flip side of it when you've done the thing that you're not supposed to do, or when you haven't done the thing that you're supposed to do. And you sit there and you berate yourself because you did the thing or you didn't do the thing. So you get hit on both sides. That part of you that says, wow, you're actually really lazy. Like, oh, I bet you ate that cookie. I bet you if you step on the scale right now, you gained like 4 pounds just from that one cookie. Like your brain and your ego are sitting there playing mind games with you and you're letting it happen. So today we're going to talk about how it is that we can start stepping into alignment to be able to manifest. So the physical energy, we want to center it. So we want to move our body. We want to get to the gym. We want to walk, swim, dance, move, lift weights, whatever that means. However, we don't want to overdo the physical energy. We don't want to live at the gym, do 7, 8, 10 hours at the gym. We don't want to be that person who's, living this lifestyle of an athlete when you're not an athlete. I mean, for athletes, that's great. That's what they do. That's their job. But for us normies, taking care of our body not only means that physical energy, but you also have to think about rest, recovery, hydration, nutrition, all the things that go into fueling your body and balancing it out. You don't want to overdo it with the nutrition. You don't want to be, what's that word when you're like super hyper focused on nutrition? I can't think of the word, but whatever. So you want to be somebody who, yes, has balance in their nutrition, somebody who takes care of their body. You don't want to overeat. You don't want to undereat. Same thing with hydration. You don't want to drink too much water. You don't want to drink not enough water. Same thing with rest. You don't want to undersleep. You don't want to oversleep, like sleep all day. You want to come to balance. You want to come to center. And when you have that center, when you're taking care of your body, when you're enjoying foods, but not too much, and you're drinking your water, you're sleeping well, and you're doing all these things, the physical energy that you are showing at that time is in that balance and clears the way for manifestation. Here's a good example of past Andy that was really blocking my manifestation. So I was a chronic overeater. I'm a foodie. I love food. Yes, absolutely. But there would be days where I would be like, I would eat so much and I would be on the couch being like, oh my God, my stomach hurts. I ate too much. Or I ate too much cheese. Fun times. And my stomach would be like, yeah, you know, you're lactose intolerant. Like, what are you doing? But I'd be like, it was so delicious. But yet I spent so much energy of my day feeling like, like, why'd I do that? My body feels like crap. I can only think about the pain in my stomach. My focus, my energy, my mental energy, my spiritual energy, my focus energy all goes to my stomach because it hurts, because it doesn't feel good, because, and my physical energy is working overtime to try to compensate for the overeating, working overtime to try to actually process the food and the damage that I'm doing and trying to mitigate everything. Like, all that energy plucked right into my stomach. Yeah. And wouldn't you know that once I was able to clear that up, 10 pounds gone. Like, that's just one sort of thing. That's like one manifestation that like comes real. Obviously, the food and the weight, it seems like a no-brainer, right? You stop overeating, you lose the weight, but that's not true. That is absolutely not true, because then there was a whole piece of I was going to the gym 4.5 hours a day, 6 days a week, because I was competing in bodybuilding. Oh, and I couldn't lose weight. I couldn't lose weight. Everything was like, what is happening? I'm eating 1,200 calories a day and I'm going to the gym and I'm not losing any weight. Oh, my hormones are dysregulated. I had the thought and I was like, oh, okay. So we fixed that. 10 pounds gone. It's like, you have to understand that sometimes the things that you're doing are working against what it is that you're trying to achieve, but you don't see it. You don't understand it because you're out of balance. So that's one of the most basic ways to think about it is, you know, are you overdoing it in one area when it comes to your physical energy, or are you underdoing it? What are you avoiding looking at in terms of taking care of this physical vessel? Now, let's talk about the mental energy. Okay. So your mental energy is not only your belief systems, but it's also logic, learning, strategy, systems, decisions. The mind is a tool. The mind is designed to keep you from unaliving yourself accidentally. It's there as like a warning system. It's taking information and it's processing it and trying to compartmentalize it. It's trying to make it so that it makes sense. But the world doesn't really naturally make sense. The world is like, it's not random, but there's so many different facets to it that to our mind, we have to take all the things that are infinite and put them into little small pockets so that we can say, oh, that makes sense. So we have to balance between being rigid and endlessly seeking. So rigidity comes from thinking that you know everything. It comes from like, hey, I know the answer. That's the answer. That is the only answer. And that is the way, the end, period. Let's keep it moving. So the problem with this is that when you have this rigid way of thinking, you eliminate an infinite number of possibilities for being the answer. Now, that's not to say let go of, you know, what you think is right, what feels right, what, A plus B equals C. Like, there are some things that, yes, keep those values. That's absolutely okay. But be open to at least listening to other points of view. Be open to hearing someone out and their point of view, where they're coming from, because maybe, just maybe, You might not change your mind, but you might understand that, oh, for them, this other way of thinking actually still works. I still like my way of thinking, but for them, that works. And so you sort of diffuse this conflict that could possibly be created by having this rigid mind. Now, the opposite of that is not holding any values or any beliefs because you're constantly seeking different ways of thinking, constantly seeking different ways of interpreting other points of view. So for myself, oh man, I've tried every religion. I've tried every spirituality. I've tried every form of, habit creation. Like you guys know, I'm the self-help book junkie. Like I have read so many self-help books thinking the next book is going to give me the answer. The next book is going to have the thing. The next book is going to be the one. When really it's coming to center. It's coming to center. Is coming to that place of, okay, what do I know to be true? And what is it that I can expand my view on? And holding that balance within you at all times. Having somebody come to you and say something, you're just like, oh, that sounds crazy, rather than saying something like, hey, tell me more. Tell me more about that. What does that mean? And after you get the information, then formulating your opinion. But there are so many people out there who think, oh no, I know the answer. I know the way. I know the light. I know what the outcome is going to be, that people don't even ask questions. People don't even explore. They're not curious. And that blocks your manifestations. Being curious, finding out, wait a minute, what does that mean? What's the potential there? What's happening with that route, that way, that road? Like blocking yourself from other possible opportunities is one of the biggest ways in which you block your manifestations. There's just no way about it. So it's being structured, but being flexible. It's about having values, but being able to see other people's points of view. Right, let's see. So emotional energy. This is the lens. This is the way in which you perceive situations, challenges, obstacles, opportunities. And so there's two different ways in which you can focus your emotional energy. The first is through the positive lens. Well, let's start with the negative lens, because a lot of people fall into this trap too, is that when you see something bad happen, you're like, this is bad. This is terrible. What does this mean for me? This has ruined my day. This has ruined my week. Oh my God, this ruined whatever. And it's easy to say, oh, this person who was rude to me at the supermarket, man, F them. Like they are total dirtbags. Maybe they are. Maybe your day is ruined. Maybe your week is ruined. Maybe. However, what you're doing is not understanding that challenges actually have the seed of a beautiful gift. Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the tenets in there is that with every single challenge is the seed of an opportunity. Every single one of them. Tiny little microscopic, like you just stubbed your toe on somewhere, there's a seed of good there. To you getting somebody to steal from you, there's a seed of opportunity there. For somebody, like you just have to want to find it. And that's through the positive lens. We can take a look at everything and think, oh, this is bad. This is terrible. Having that negative energy immediately destroys your manifestation. Immediately. So yes, going through to the positive lens and thinking, okay, this is a challenge, but how can I reframe this? Oh, you know what? I've been through this before. I know how to navigate it. Man, I'm pretty awesome. Or even when somebody steals from you, okay, what is it about my current structure that allowed for me to be stolen from? Maybe I'm too naive and fell for one of those spam calls. Maybe, I wasn't careful with my purse. Let me zip up my purse now and just have more consciousness about the things that are important to me. Back when I was in Guatemala, I had my rings stolen from me, my wedding ring stolen from me. And man, let me tell you, that manifestation story is crazy. I posted it on here. I'm going to put a link to it. And that taught me, one, is that I was not prioritizing taking care of things that really were important to me. Wedding ring. That I wasn't really thinking about, oh, maybe even though I can trust these people in my house to do the work, maybe they're going through something in their life where they believe they need to steal. I don't know. Or maybe I'm a little bit too trusting. Maybe I need to learn how to protect my space better. So out of that came a whole beautiful lesson about forgiveness and protecting myself, and also caring about and treasuring about the things that are really important to me, communicating with my husband about things that are really difficult. Like, all so many beautiful lessons came from that. But it was still very painful. I could have looked at it like, wow, this is terrible. F that guy. F that guy for coming into my house. F that guy from stealing from me. F that guy for, making me go through this. F God for, not helping me. Like, so many things I could have looked at it, but I chose to look at it through the positive lens. Like, okay, you know what? This is what I'm learning. It's really painful, but this is what I'm learning. God, thank you. And I was rewarded with my manifestation of getting my rings back. Sometimes maybe I would have gotten a bigger ring. I don't know. Maybe I would have, there's so many outcomes that could have happened that were positive, but I know that in my heart, that when I looked at it through the positive lens, a part of my heart healed. And that in and of itself was the reward. The fact that I got my ring backs were like a bonus. That was like amazing. But just go watch that video. That was a really amazing video. And so we also have to think that we can't catastrophize everything, but we also don't want to live in a land of delusion where everything is happy, everything is beautiful, la, 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 everything is amazing, I'm wonderful, I'm rich, I'm smart, I'm happy, I'm healthy, everything is perfect, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to do that either. We want to be able to take a look at the challenges and reframe. Look at what is in front of us and say, okay, what is the benefit of this? What is it about this that I'm choosing to experience this over and over again, if it's a problem that you keep recurring and keep having? So being able to really go in and dissect what is happening, I'm such a proponent for that. Oh my God. If you guys only knew how often I'm digging into the small things of my life, it's crazy. So now the spiritual connection. So we talked about physical, mental, and emotional, and bringing those to center, bringing those to a balance, bringing those to equanimity. That's the word. And so now we're going to talk about the spiritual energy. And spiritual energy, we want to up, 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 up. All that physical energy, all that mental energy, all that emotional energy, all of that, because we bring them to equanimity, we harness them and we are able to shoot that into our spiritual energy. And spiritual energy is faith. Spiritual energy is that the end of the movie is gonna be they lived happily ever after, rather than to be continued, right? So two things that we want to be conscious of: spiritual bypassing, avoiding responsibilities, saying, I'm just sitting here praying and meditating and the universe will provide, without actually doing anything. Or we're trying to control everything, saying that, you trust, but you're still looking and peeking under the covers to see, oh, did I get my manifestation? Did I get my manifestation? Oh, I trust you, God. Did I get it yet? Did I get it? No? Okay. So let's not pretend like there aren't pitfalls to spiritual energy. Spiritual energy also has to be centered. However, the The physical, the mental, and the emotional all get harnessed to fuel your spiritual energy, that connection to God. Because when you are connected to God, your body, you don't even feel your body. When you are connected to God, you're such in an emotional state of bliss that there is no good, bad. It just is. When you are connected to God, your mental energy isn't in the future, the past, or what's possible, the logic and all of that. It just is. And it feels so good. So you want to harness all those other energies and funnel them into your spiritual energy. And the only way you can do that is with the first three being centered and balanced. So here we go. We're just going to talk about the different ways, again, just to sort of recap the different ways. So with the physical, it's avoidance and obsession. It's, I don't want to move anything. I'm just sitting on the couch all day, not doing anything. I sit at my desk 9 to 5. I go home and I just sit down and I watch TV. I'm not moving my body. I don't want to do anything. Or it's obsessively being meticulous with your foods in terms of, never eating anything that's not a vegetable. I remember there was a woman who passed away, it was like a really sad story. She was a vegan, but all she ate was fruit and vegetables. That is it. And you could see over time how she was, losing so much weight over time. And it was just such a heartbreaking story that she was just so hyper focused on being what she considered healthy that it ultimately brought her to her demise. We have to balance these distortions into embodiment. And I love that the word is embody here because it's your body. So nutrition, hydration, rest, recovery, movement. Those 5 things go into your physical. Now the mental, thinking about being so rigid with your thinking that no other forms of opinion or points of view penetrate your brain, but also seeking the information out there every single time, not trusting in your own self. And so you have to have that structure and flexibility within you, but also feeling I know what I believe, but I'm open to there being more information out there. The emotional, the doom lens is everything is doomed. Everything is falling apart. Everyone's out to get me. Versus pretending nothing is happening. The la la, nothing is happening. I'm okay. Everything is okay. Don't worry about me because I'm perfect. Both of those are ways in which you are not living in balance. So you have to feel what is happening, but you also can't pretend it's the end of the story is going to be the worst. And then we got the spiritual. So are you spiritually bypassing, or are you trying to control through your spirit, control the outcome versus, just saying, oh, the universe has 100% got it. Saying the universe has not got it versus the universe has 100% got it and I don't got to do nothing. We're here to co-create. We are here to co-create our universe. We're here to co-create our world. We're here to co-create our experience. And it is so beautiful when you step into that energy. So the aligned funnel, you got your mind, your body, you got your emotions. And miracles are not created from emotional panic or physical exhaustion, which is what I was talking about earlier, is that some people will step into the energy of, I just have to grind. I have to keep going. I'm going to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week until I make that $1 billion company. Yeah, you might gain the $1 billion company, but at what cost? At what cost? Now, I don't know about you, but I would like to reach $1 billion company, but still have my sanity, but still have my family, but still be able to go on vacations, still be able to go to the gym, do my 5-hour morning routine. I would love to be able to do that. I believe I can do that. Now, some people don't believe that, so they grind themselves into a bloody pulp, get their $1 billion, and they're like, actually, I hate my life. actually, I hate that I missed my children's. You know who is a great example of this? Indra Nuye. She always talks about, the sacrifice of like, yeah, she was CEO of PepsiCo, and she was talking about, that she missed so much of her children's childhood. And she was like, yeah, but that was what I wanted. Like, I knew that she says it all the time. There is no such thing as balance. So for her framework is there is no such thing as balance. Now, I look at people like Emma Grede, who, yeah, she says that, that she's given up one part, saying yes to one thing means saying no to another, but that she spends time with her family and she is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, she has such an empire and she is still active in her children's lifetimes. Like, that is what she wants to do. And she's not talking about that she missed all this. She's active in her children's lifetime. So you get to see what is possible if you just look around. So I digress. So body, mind, and emotion, all of these come into the state of equanimity so that you can funnel your true energy into your spiritual connection to God. And your spiritual connection to God is where your creativity lies. It's where your problem solving skills happen. It's where your motivation is, and all this wonderful stuff that fuels your body, mind, and emotion. It's funny how that works, right? So the 4 energy alignment method. 1, notice what energy is activated right now. Think about all 4 states, okay? You're sitting, it's the first thing you do when you open your eyeballs. You're like, okay, the first thing I need to address, what is happening? How can I find balance? Where can I direct my energy? And how can I release it? So you open your eyes. What's the first thing that you want to do? Move your body. Or is it? Is it get your mind right? Or is it that you want to get your emotions together? Or is it that you want to connect with God first? You want to do all 4 of them. Now, my personal way that in which I do my 5-hour routine in the morning starts out with the minute that I come to consciousness, I say, thank you for waking up. Thank you, God, for waking me up. The first thing I do is the connection with God. Because through that, it's like, oh, I get to be grateful. Oh, you know what? I get to move my body. Not everybody got to move their body today. Not everybody woke up today. Not everybody got to show up and be energetic today. Not everybody has a roof over their head today. Not everybody is going to have a nice hot breakfast today. Not everybody is going to be able to get to the gym this morning. Not everybody is going to be able to live their passion today. But I get to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And then we start out with nutrition, the body, getting the body right. Because to me, this is what I found for me, is that the gateway to the mental and the emotional is always the body. So I always figure out, okay, first, I got to take care of my body, eat something, so that I can, regulate my hormones. Then I go sit down, I start praying, meditating, reading, journaling, getting my mind right. And then I go to the gym so that the physical energy that I have can come up so that I can lift up my physical energy. So I'm constantly rebalancing all of these things throughout the day. But it's through this filter. It's like noticing what energy is activated right now. Like, do you have a ton of energy? Okay, go expend it outside. Go for a walk. Don't just say, like my brain doesn't want to move. Yes, your brain doesn't want to move because you have all this physical energy. So move that physical energy, and then you're going to notice that your brain is going to start to move too. Okay? Start to see where it is in your body that you have more energy and where you have less energy. So where you have more energy, you want to bring that down so that it'll rebalance the other things. And then name it. Say it out loud. I don't want to get up off this couch because my brain really doesn't want to move. but I have enough energy to go do it. Say it out loud, name it, call it out, call it out. And then what brings you back to balance? Is it moving your body? Is it reading? Is it watching a YouTube? Is it, seeing somebody doing the thing that you want to be doing? I love, love, love watching people who have excelled in my field, because that just, I envision myself giving those talks. I envision myself giving those coaching opportunities. I envision myself having those numbers on my YouTube or on my podcast. And I envision myself, and I'm like, oh my God, I get so motivated, I get so excited that it like knocks me out. And I'm like, yes, let's go. And then we direct it. Where do I want this energy to go? Towards God, always towards God. So when you're moving your body, when you're feeding your mind, when you're looking at different points of view, when you are looking at your emotions, whether you're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, when you're looking at this rubric of what it is that you have going on in your body, you say, okay, I actually want to clear the way to be able to connect to God, because through God, all things are possible. So I have so much energy, and that usually happens to me when I drink like caffeinated tea or happen to drink a decaf coffee, and I'm just like so wired with energy, and I'm like, yes, everything is possible. But I want to get rid of that energy. I want to move it. I want to get that energy out of the body, because if I am so energized, I can't sit still. And sitting still is where you connect with God. So it comes in so many different ways that you can do this. And then release. It's like, what is mine to do and what must I release to God? So now that you've connected to God, now that you have come to balance with your body, you're hydrated, you're fed, you moved your body. Now you're centered with your emotions. You're not looking at things through the negative lens. You're looking at them through a positive lens, yet not deluding yourself as to what is really happening. When you're looking at your mental energy and you're like, hey, I really have this very strong thought, but you know what? Maybe there's another way to look at it. When you have all of these things and you're sitting here and like, you're not having any crazy emotions. You're not having any crazy thoughts about somebody being completely wrong. You're not having any crazy sort of, physical reaction where you don't want to move or you need to move like crazy. When you're centered right there, that is when you ask the question, what is mine and what can I leave to God? What is mine to do and what is it that I cannot do that God needs to provide? You'll get your answer at that moment, guaranteed. So here's the hard truth. All right, you ready for it? Manifesting is easy. You're always manifesting. You've always been manifesting. You will always be manifesting. But being a conscious manifester is one of the hardest things you will ever do. And it's not because it's hard in like a bad sense, but it's going to force you to look at every single aspect of your life with a microscope, dissect it, and say, okay, how is it that this can be better? How can I be 1% better in this? How can I do? And it's not because you're wrong, you're bad, you're trash or anything like that. It's really coming from a place of, okay, if I want something that I don't have because I cannot acquire it, that means there's some part of me that needs to be released, that needs to be unlocked, that needs to be freed. And that is the part that people really struggle with, because yes, you have to change. You have to free yourself of the bonds of all those negative things that you're doing to yourself, the things that you're saying to yourself, all the negative things that are really keeping you prisoner in your current reality. And in order to move through that, you have to look at every single aspect of your life and say, okay, how can I be free from this? And it's not about judging. We're not judging ourselves. This is just how we were wired unconsciously throughout our entire life. Nobody has told us this. There are very few people who from the very beginning of their life have had the opportunity to understand that they are conscious creators. And even then, I think about some people who are like pastors or who have children who become the most rebellious. They're like the closest to God, and yet their children become the most rebellious, is because we fight tooth and nail to live a reality of our own creation rather than co-creation. We have such a hard time connecting to the fact that we are not alone in this creating universe, that it's like we would rather live our lives in pain and suffering rather than admit, oh, you know what, let me just turn it over to God. We would rather go through so much heartache and disaster rather than say, you know what, God, I leave it up to you. Let me just do my part. Let me get my body right. Let me get my mind right. Let me get my emotions right. And I'm going to give it to you so that you can give me the gifts of whatever it is that is coming my way, rather than trying to force it. People would rather be miserable than to admit that there is a God. That's crazy to me. So remember, everybody, I have my 21-day Be Do Have experience, and in it, you're really going to find the fact that people, in the 21-day experience, you're going to define what it is that you want, and you're going to see, do you even know what you want? That's part of it, is really defining your life. What are you doing? What are the things that are working against your manifestation? Are you hustling and grinding because that's the only way you know how, but you're trying to create the soft life? You'll never get the soft life, believing that you got to hustle and grind your way to it. Or can you? So it's really about uncovering all these things and examining your life with a microscope to be able to manifest the things that you want. And just a quick note, the next couple of masterclasses, we're going to have Kenya McGuire Riley, who's an astrologer. We're going to be talking about the North Node and South Node on your astrological chart. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to link at the bottom in the description to you guys so that you can find your North Node and see what that means. But it is basically your soul's curriculum for life and how it is that you can manifest from an astrological point of view. So July 16th, July 23rd, August 13th, August 27th, those are the ones that she's booked so far. We've got 3 more after that, but we have yet to determine those dates. But listen, put your date of birth into my widget and put your date of birth into the widget and figure out what your North Node is and look at what your soul's curriculum is. Heck, put your partners in there, put your bosses in there, put your coworkers, your friends in there to see what it is that they might be up against in terms of their soul's curriculum in this universe. And until then, you guys, love you guys. Bye.